Welcome back, everyone. Today's a bit of a special episode. I'm going to be talking about the best of 2024. I've broken out all the different knives into different categories that I own. So, just to put it out there, this isn't to say that some other knife doesn't belong in these categories. This is very subjective. It's my opinion, somewhat educated in a sense, just because I do follow a lot of the different forums, different chats, gauge the market, see what's really hot. But definitely, I don't know everything. So these are strictly my opinion, and it's based on my collection. All right, so let's get started. The first category is best all around folders. And for me, Spyderco has always held a special place in my collection. So the two that I believe really fit that space and needs is the Manix 2, the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And I chose the MagnaCut versions because they were released this year in 2024. And this has had some modifications. These are you wearing AWT aluminum scales, um, also with a Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket clip. And I chose the Maddox 2 because not only is it one of my favorite, well, it is my favorite Spyderco model. I have multiple variations, but I picked the MagnaCut version because the steel is meant to be great all around. It's a stainless steel. It's got properties of great edge retention, corrosion resistance, obviously, and then toughness. And really, from a steel perspective, the Manix 2 is equivalent to the PM2, assuming that they're both optimized from a heat treat standpoint, um, so and whatnot. But this also came out this year. I think MagnaCut, when it first hit the scene, people couldn't wait for Spyderco to start using it on their knives. And so I believe the MagnaCut, this one right here, was one of the first to pop up. Um, well, these two right here, I can't recall which one came out first. I do have it on my, let's see. Actually, yeah, according to me, at least my documentation of when I purchased it, I got this in early March of this year. So that's not to say it's when I released. I actually waited a while before I bought it. Um, but I really like the PM2, the way what they've done with this model. The texturing on the scales are really nice. Gives you that additional traction and grip. And the PM2 model just doesn't, for me, doesn't fail. My brother-in-law actually carries a PM2 that I got him, and he has told me over and over again that having the tip more narrow has helped him do a lot of different work. He works on cars. He owns his own shop, and so this has served him well. And I actually have an aftermarket backspacer on this thing. So, and for the Maddox 2, though, for me, if you compare, it's a little bit wider in the pocket than the PM2 is. So I'll say if I was to do that just slightly, probably not even noticeable because the widest part of this is about the same as this. Um, it's the Maddox 2 has just always been really great. And so if I was to really compare which one of these got the best all-around folder, I'm gonna go with the PM2, and I'll tell you why. So this has aftermarket scales. This is the lightweight version, which would have had. Is it the lightweight? It's lightweight for sure. I'm trying to imagine whether or not it falls into the Salt series. So apologies if I don't have that fact ready on hand, but this would come with FRN. Was it FRN or FRCP? I feel like those get changed. FRN. So fiber reinforced nylon, yellow scales. Um, for this exact configuration, this cost another, I would say about $100, less than $100 more than this one. And you have to do some modifications to get it where you like. I don't really like the FRN scales that much, even though I do have a few knives in my collection. I like the sturdiness of a better material, which for me, aluminum does the job. But the PM2 has it all, I think. G10 always has been great on the Spyderco models, and especially with the new texturing on the the Salt series for this particular PM2 model. I don't think the DLC is needed, but it does match, the entire look of it. They just recently did come out with the PM2 Satin Blade Salt series with same texturing, but inside these screws is black or yellow. It's either reverse. So it's black and yellow, the new one that came out with the Satin Blade. So if I was going to give it to one of these models for best all-around Spyderco, I'm going to give it to the PM2 Salt with the magnet cut blade and special traction on the handles. All right. Next up, I have best all around, or not all around, best exclusive from Spyderco for 2024. This is the Knife Works exclusive Mannix 2. It's got their CTS 204P with the forest green G10. And this is slightly more recent. This came out Black Friday of 2024 from GP Knives, and it's using Rex 76 steel with a herringbone brick layered pattern on the G10 scales. I mean, very similar to my best all around, where I picked a magnet cut steel, but same two knives. This is the normal version, so of the Mannix 2, not the lightweight. So you do have the steel liners in there. And again, Mannix 2 is one of my favorites. So it was when I was thinking about exclusives, these were the two that really stuck out in my collection. And so I possibly am a little biased, probably. I mean, most of this video will be very subjective. So, but again, best Spyderco exclusive. I believe these two are the runners up. Now, the one that's going to win again is going to be the PM2. The reason I say that is primarily the steel and the unique texturing on the G10. I've been doing some cut tests with this particular knife right here, and it's held up extremely well. I went through 8 days of cuts. I started at 40 days of cut for the first 5 days, and then moved up to 100 days per video. So I'm going to continue, and this was on cardboard. I'm going to continue. I'm going to jump to zip ties next. So you should be seeing that shortly. But I would say I'm giving the best Spyderco exclusive to the GP Knives PM2 with DLC Rex 76 steel and the herringbone brick pattern G10. It's got a lot of great grip, texturing, really locks into your hand. So yeah, I'm very impressed with the steel. Let's see. Spyderco states it as the hardness should be between 68 to 70. Just to kind of give you a preview, I do have another Rex variant that's coming up for a different category. So yeah, I'm gonna give it up to GP Knives. Great idea for this exclusive. Very excited to see how the edge holds up. All right, so next up, we have the most unique steel offering on the folder. And as you can see, the Rex 76 PM2 is making another appearance. But this time, it's competing against the Rex 121. So I got this kind of about 4 months ago. So more than halfway through the year. And when I first got it, I didn't do any cut tests on it. So I do regret not doing the cut test for this. But sharpening my own knives, I got a little overly confident. So I was like, all right, I'm going to sharpen this. And I was not able to get it sharp. So I admittedly had to send it to my buddy Mike from Boston Blade Works. He does an amazing job on his on people's edges. So he does offer that as a sharpening service. So if you're curious or not confident in sharpening a certain steel or you need something repaired, hit him up. His name is Mike at Boston Blade Works with an X um, on Instagram. He's also on YouTube as well. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll make sure I get you linked up with him. But when Rex 121 came out, I was, I don't know, I guess I can call myself a steel junkie. And I do want to do more testing with different steels so I can fully understand the capabilities of it. And I understand it's different from knife to knife and the heat treat. All of that's very important. But this is supposed to have a hardness that's, I believe, over 70. It's the highest hardness of all steels, at least according to last time when I checked on Knife Nerds. But to my recollection, I did put a Rips Garage Tech aftermarket clip on it. It's titanium. And you can see the patina is starting to develop. I've used this to cut up my steaks. And the Sage 5, apologize, I don't think I even said the model, but this is the Sage 5. This is a Sprint. And yeah, using one Rex 121. You can see that patina, it's really nice. It's a tool steel, so not very corrosion resistant. It's a great EDC. It's very EDC friendly in the sense it's not a large knife. The choil is really comfortable to choke up on. You get a 4-finger grip without the choil, but it feels like it's about to squeeze out of your hand right here. And back to the PM2, the Rex 76. I've done cut tests with this, as I mentioned earlier in this video on the last category. But between these two, I'm going to give it to the Rex 121 Sage 5. Only because the Rex 121 is, on this particular format, it's the first time I've seen this steel on a folder for Spyderco, or I believe any model, any knife. So I'm very excited about that. But I do have a mirrored edge from Mike, so I'm gonna start putting this to the test. Might not be fair. He was able to bring this into roughly an average of 65 on the best rating. So this is fairly sharp. I can't recall what it was. I don't have the tools to test the sharpness, but when I tried sharpening and I sent it to him, it was atrocious. The rating was very high. So it wouldn't be a fair test, but I would like to see how his edge holds up. So I probably will do some testing with this down the road. Yeah. So I'm going to give it up for most unique steel on a Spyderco folder to the Sage 5. Next up, I have the newest Crucarta model. I guess it's not really a best of, but I feel like it was worth mentioning. So Crucarta is the term that the knife community gave to Spyderco models that were using Cruwear steel with the micarta scales. And the first came out on the Shaman, so that was a huge hit. It was a sprint, sold out instantly. They came out, and that was the only time it was a sprint. Everything else that's taken the Crucarta formula has been a regular production model. They've done it so far with the PM2, the Mannix 2, with the Military 2. I believe they're dropping a Para 3 in that format, and maybe one or two more. And off the top of my head, I can't quite recall which other ones, but I'm pretty confident Para 3 is coming out with a Crucarta version. But again, this was highly sought after. The original Shaman Crucarta was highly sought after. And ever since then, I believe that's what caused Spyderco to make this a regular production model rather than make it a sprint. But I've really been enjoying this. I have a lot of military ones in my collection, and this is one of two different military 2 models I have. But I felt that I would be remiss if I didn't mention a Crucarta that came out in 2024. So this would be it. I've already started to get a patina on this blade as well from, you called it, cutting steak. I'm a huge fan of using my tool steel knives on steak. It gives it the natural patina that it develops. I don't have to force anything on it. I will say sometimes though, when I'm cutting my steak, I will deliberately push this down against the top of the steak so all the oils and juices can get on it, so I can further that patina. So yeah, so honorable mention to the newest Crucarta model from Spyderco, the military 2 from Spyderco. All right, so next category, again based on the knives that I have in my collection, the best Spyderco new model. Does that make sense? The newest Spyderco model released in 2024, and it's a mashup between it's a toss up between their collaboration with Lion Steel on the Spyderco and their Bodacious model. Okay, let's talk about the Spyderco. So this one is a flash batch, and they are numbered. Let me see. Mine, see if I can get it to close up. So the serial numbers in here. Man, I wish I had one of my flashlights here, but mine is number 70 of 2000. So they made 2,000 units of this flash batch model. The ergonomics are okay, only because this portion kind of creates some pressure in the palm. And so, to be fully honest, I haven't really been carrying and using this much. I love the form. I love how it looks. Right, it's got that green micarta on the show side. It's fully reversible clip too, so you could pop this over. A nice titanium. It has got a removable flipper tab, so if you didn't want that there, you can kind of have a cleaner look on the back. It's very easy to use that flipper tab though, and then deployment extremely easily. It's on bearings, kind of glides right out. It doesn't have a super snap or anything from opening. But my biggest nitpick about this knife is access to the lock bar. As you can see, there is a little bit of cutout right there, but it's towards the bottom of the lock bar. And it's just physics that if you're pressing against the lower point where the relief is, it's harder to disengage, where there's more tension as you go lower. So for me, I would think that would have decided to create the relief a little higher so they can access it from here. So for me, I haven't slipped when I try to disengage, but access to the lock bar is not that comfortable, and well, not much clearance either. So I think that's one of my nitpicks about this model. But I still thought it was very unique, and actually, I feel like it took a while to sell out. It was fairly easy to get. I ended up getting 2 of these, so I did sell one to my buddy. He really liked it as well. I think he's enjoying it probably a little bit more than I am. Yeah, I feel like the hotspot's there, and access to the lock bar. I suppose I could try and modify it, but haven't been compelled to do so. All right, so the Spyderco Bodacious. These are wearing aftermarket titanium scales from Lynch Northwest. Same with the clip. It was a kit that came with, this is a dark abyss finish, and the milling is how he described it, as kind of like a samurai milling. So comes with the titanium handles as well as the pocket clip, same finish. The Bodacious, without the aftermarket parts on it, was $262, I think, from what I recall. And I feel like that's pretty high for a standard S30V Black G10 model. It is a new model, so I think for Spyderco, they were trying to gauge the market. During Black Friday or during any of the Spyderco no IMAP sales throughout the year, you would see this model drop in price. A lot of people were able to offer from much compelling price point. I think at one point I saw this for under $200. So I missed the mark on that. You know, having a YouTube channel makes me want to get all the new knives right away for the channel. But yeah, I need to learn to be more patient, or people can start sending me knives. That'd be cool. Anywho, I really like it. And for me, I did a comparison video to the Spyderco Shaman, where it's very similar, but it's slimmer in profile. Um, it's got one of the things about the Shaman they were always talking about was this nub that would hit your finger as it closed. It eliminates that, so you can hold it down all the way, and it does close if you're continuing to hold on to compression. The liner right there. What else? I really like the ergonomics. Instead of a finger choil that cuts into the blade length, the finger choil is kind of created and it had the handle, so it's very comfortable. I really like this. I'm hoping they create more different steel offerings throughout the course of this model's life cycle. But I really enjoy it. It's got that shaman feel without the, you know, what I do like about the shaman is that it feels your hand. It has that more overbuilt feeling when you're holding the shaman. This has a slimmed down feeling to the shaman. That's how I would describe it. But you get a lot more cutting edge than the shaman. Let's see if I have one to compare it really quickly. All right, so I do have my shaman to compare. Just a quick comparison. As you can see, the cutting edge is at least probably half an inch difference. And the finger choil is up into the blade, as I was mentioning, whereas this one's still in the handle. Okay, so for me, the best Spyderco model of 2024, I'm gonna give it up to the Bodacious. Though, in my opinion, it's slightly overpriced for the standard configuration it would come. Keep an eye out for deals because this will go on sale. I think Spyderco might have overpriced it. A lot of people probably were just holding off and possibly might feel the same way about the value that you're getting for it. But yeah, the scale kit, by the way, if you're interested, is about $200. So clip and titanium scales, and those even went on sale during certain holidays. So if you're interested, there's lots of options. They're already pumping out a lot of different scales, aftermarket parts for this knife. But I do hope they come out with some different steels. Yeah, so best new model, Spyderco Bodacious. Moving on to the best comeback of 2024. And what I mean by that is a model that was previously not really being produced, or possible. Well, I don't think these were ever titled as discontinued, but that has been brought back in 2024 and kind of made a splash, positive and negative, in my opinion. Um, I will say right off the bat, the perception on majority of these at the price it released was overpriced. You know, but hey, I think just in our economy these days, cash is king. So how you price something, the value of products, um, becoming more important. First, we'll talk about the Benchmade 710. So the 710 is a model that came out many years ago. The first time it was released was 1999. So this particular version is a re-release. It's kind of like a 25th anniversary. It's got the aluminum scales. I like the milling on it. They did a good job with that. And it's got a FDE MagnaCut blade. These are numbered as well. So this is 635. I want to say the total is out of 1500. If you know better, feel free to correct me with that in the comments. This is mostly going off the top of my head. So, now this came out for $600, and I think for the most part, Benchmade's they have a policy where I don't know if it's even matte, but it's might be a, well, anyways, I haven't really seen this for less, but they came out with another model where it's a kind of a type, silver aluminum with satin S90V. or no, it's also an FDE finish S90V version. They came out with that this year as well, but $600. I believe the ones that came out in 1999. Granted, yes, it's 25 years ago. That they were much less, under 200 maybe. Um, I never held one of the older 710s, so I can't really comment on what the feel. And I'm assuming it's pretty much the same, right? Just different materials in a different decade. So this I wanted to put into the category of one of the comebacks of 2024. I really like it. I mean, the controversy is with the pricing is extremely high. At $600, you're getting into you can get into a folder with titanium with better materials. But Benchmade, they do have a reputation. They've been around for a long time. Whether or not your perception of that is positive or negative, I like Benchmades, but there's only a couple models I really like from Benchmade. I didn't really get into Benchmades when I first started. Well, actually, that's not true. Yeah, my very first knife was a mini barrage, but well, that got me into higher end folders. So I do like this. For me, it is overpriced, but it's got great action. And what they did was they did a kind of a step um, design for the lock, so it's easy to pull down because it goes towards that direction. No complaints. It's been a while. I haven't sharpened it up yet, but you can see just also using this for my steaks that you can see how the darkness on the FDE finish. All right, next up we have the AD10. This is the Andrew Demko design. This is a production version. I've been ever since this came out. I've been seeing the G10 version of his custom ones pop up everywhere, and those are north of $1,000. When this came out for just slightly under $400. And funny story, I almost bought it for $400, even though I tried to hold back for as long as I could, because I was like, I don't need to spend $400 on a, if I'm gonna spend $400, I'm gonna add that towards something. Not to say this is a bad knife in any way. That's all. I'm not critiquing the knife. I just at the price point, $400 for something that wasn't made in the U.S. I wait a bit now. I don't want to just jump the gun. But so back to my story. So I went to Coast Steel's site. I placed the order, and then I forgot to use a coupon. It was like a 10% coupon, right? So I would have saved $40. I reached out to the Cold Steel customer service and asked, hey, can you apply it retroactively? And they said, oh, we can't do that, so you have to cancel your order. And I placed it on like a Saturday. And so, and I called them, I think, on a Sunday. And I said, okay, will you please cancel my order? Because I figured during the weekend, you're not working. You probably didn't process the order and it's not being shipped. So Monday comes around, they didn't get back to me, so I follow up with them. And they're like, oh, we can't cancel your order. It's in picking status. And I was like, oh, okay, well, then I'm going to return it then because I really wanted to at least save the 10%, right? $40, it's not nothing. So it turns out a few days later, I didn't get tracking information, and I called them back. I was like, hey, you guys said it can't be canceled, but it's not shipping it. So ultimately, eventually, I guess something miscommunication happened. They were able to cancel it. They just didn't update my order status. They eventually refunded me, so I kind of just held off for a bit. And then on who shout out to Chuck Nunface. He's the one that posted about Midway USA having a sale. Because he made a video saying that he couldn't believe how the sale that was happening for it, but it was a huge sale. Right? It was being sold for $250 on Midway USA. So long story short, and they were offering like a 10% first time order coupon. So I went on. I was able to get this for less than $250 after tax and that additional 10% coupon. So at $250, this has a nice value to it. It's very hefty. It's got titanium scales on it. I mean, it's got 3V steel. How well is heat treated? I don't know. I haven't read enough about that yet. I have used this also on food prep and steak, and it's starting to get a patina on it, which I do enjoy because I've noticed that the patina on different tool steels do have a different result. So it's a hefty knife, but it's overbuilt in that sense, and that kidded me about. Well, I wouldn't say a kid. I really didn't get into knives about 10 years ago, but the little kid inside me says overbuilt knives, large knives are the coolest. So I do like this knife a lot. It's got great action. The tension on the spring is a little heavy, so granted, so I think it's well deserved because it is a big blade, big knife, and make sure you have the safety precautions in place, I suppose. Um, Pocket clips, it's fine. It is comfortable in hand, no hot spots. My clip is not touching the scale, so every time I grip down on it, if I do that, you can hear the tapping. Yeah. So, anyways, really cool that Cold Steel came back out with the AD10 model. This is made in Taiwan. So for $400, I'm not sure this is worth it. Just my opinion, but I believe Midway USA is still having the sale. So go check them out. You might be able to get this for much less. Next up, we got the Desert Knife Works Sand Shark. This is the production model that was re-released this year. And I think the biggest difference is that the original Sand Shark didn't have any blade play. This one does. And you can definitely hear it. It's very audible. And I didn't have the original, so I really don't have anything to compare it to. However, when I saw a pop, and I think it was I got this from EDC Lifestyle, either that or Way of the Knife. Can't quite remember. But this came out for $450, bought it for $450. It's got a badass blade. I really like the way the blade shape is. I wouldn't say this is probably not very EDC friendly. Oh, look at that. After a while, my thumbs run out of energy and I don't have the strength to retract it. I like the shark etching on it. Really cool. It's got a deep carry pocket clip, and the pocket clip functions very well, but this is also very heavy. Very heavy knife. It's comfortable in hand though, so yeah. Maybe a slight bit of pressure. So there definitely was a lot of talk, but Chipped Metal did a drum test. At least that's the only one I saw. And where he stabbed a drum, did a bunch of testing with it, and it held up just fine. And he even took it apart. It didn't really impact the materials or the components in any negative manner. But the original had 3 inset screws that you can tighten to adjust the blade play, and yeah. So they don't have this on. They don't have that on this model. Okay, so best comeback knife of 2024. Drum roll. I'm gonna give it to the AD10. Only because, in my opinion, the materials on this knife, though not made in the USA, like the Benchmade is superior to this knife, in my opinion. Magna cut steel it's very common. It's one of the best super steels on the market right now. But you can't go wrong with 3V, and I think 3V matches the format of this knife better than. I mean, Magna cut is probably can be applied to any knife, but I think 3V was a good match, good decision for this re-release of the AD10. I think the value for this is better than both of these. from an EDC standpoint, you can carry this one a lot easier, these two a lot easier than this, because there's a lot of restrictions about OTFs. Uh, so I would say the comeback knife of 2024 goes to the Demco 8010 in 3V and titanium. They also have a black titanium version as well. Anyways, so yeah. Next up we have the CKF Marfion collaboration, the Sakosha 2.0, I want to say. So I am naming this the best collaboration of 2024. The Sakosha came out before, and it was called the Vexia. They made some changes to it, and I really like how it takes on kind of the components of the SOCOM with the Vexia. So I've never held the Vexia, the original CKF one, but I do have quite a few SOCOMs, and this is a great knife. It's got great action on it. Not drop shut in any way, but they do use a detent ramp, so it doesn't hit. The tang of the blade is not stopping when it contacts the detent ball, and it just kind of rolls through. So very well designed in that aspect. It's comfortable in hand, potentially just the slightest pressure right there. It is a deep carry pocket clip. It's got your glass breaker on it. Price? Well, I got the one with the carbon fiber inlay, and so I did pre-order this from NC Blade. It took about, I want to say 4 to 5 months, and I ended up paying $690 for this. In my opinion, slightly overpriced. You're paying for the collaboration, probably more so towards Marfion's name, Tony Marfion from Microtech. So, that's probably what you're paying for as part of the tax on that price point. They've got one that has, I can't recall the inlay for the other one, but they have a cheaper version for $100 less. And I believe NC Blade still has a couple left, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. This is serial numbered 185 and is using M398 steel. You can probably hear my daughter playing the piano in the background, so hopefully it doesn't detract too much. She's pretty good at it though. She's only been playing for a year. Anywho, back to the knife. Yes. Collaboration of 2024 goes to CKF Sakosha 2.0. Next up, we have the most innovative knife of 2024. Again, these are very subjective because it's what's in my collection, what I thought was the most innovative. This is the Winter Blade Co. Factor 8, which is potentially just a Factor, but a larger version of it. Factor XL, whatever you want to label it. But this came out late October of this year, and it was during a drop where he dropped this and I think 4 other models. Sold out within 5 minutes, so quick. And the price I paid was $4.25 plus $1.25 for shipping, which is interesting because I don't know why $1.25, but better than a higher cost for shipping. So about $426. I am liking it so far. It's got magnet cut steel on it. This is in their PVD black titanium. It's held up well. It's got great action. The uses a magnetic detent system, so you can see that right there and right there. It's really holding. That's what's holding down the blade, and it has a lever switch for deployment, or you can middle finger flick, thumb roll. It's not like a traditional button lock where this is a release to close, but it won't come out if you just pull that lever down. Yeah, so my biggest nitpick about this is if you're in a saber grip, right, you're okay. But once you get in a hammer grip, this portion where it kind of digs into my hand right there. So of everything, that would be the one, my main nitpick about that. It's kind of wide though, so it'll probably take up a bit of real estate in your pocket. But I had the original Factor, and for the same reason as this one, that's why I got rid of it. But it was more pronounced because it was a smaller knife. So no matter how I reoriented my grip, this portion will always be digging in. But if I hold it down a little bit lower or do that, it's okay. I don't really feel it. So yeah, most innovative knife of 2024 goes to the Winter Blade Co. Factor 8. All right, so a best of 2024 wouldn't be justified without a category on fixed blades. So the best small EDC fixed blade of 2024 for me is a toss up between these three. We've got the Shark Gen 2 from SPK Unlimited right here. And I missed out on the Shark Gen 1. So when I saw this pop up, I signed up for his newsletters. I, you know, just knew I had to grab it. So I did pick it up. However, it didn't come with a sheath. And he made 2 drops this year too. The first drop, which is where this is from, didn't have a sheath. So you had to get that separately. And he provided a reasoning stating that he wanted to support custom sheath makers so that you can, have a bit more customization and that you wouldn't just have to take whatever you got, right? Cool. Completely understand. So I did end up getting this from Oak City Leather. Yeah, Oak City Leather Supply right there. And I really like it. Yeah, I use this for a scout carry, so it's very comfortable. It's just perfect in terms of ergonomics. It's got Elmax steel on it, which is what I believe he uses for majority of his knives. Um, I hope I don't butcher it. I hope I remember this right, but Alex Steingraber is the name of the knife maker behind SPK. Anyways, really like this. I don't typically use lanyards, and I don't feel like this is needed on this knife because you do get a 4-finger grip on it. But I have not removed it, and I think it's probably useful as a scout carry that if you reach back there and you grab the lanyard out of a pinch and don't get a full grip on the handle. So I've left it on for that reason. But I've been using it, as you can see, it slices very well. Very excited to have this in the collection. Definitely had to give it some props for being my favorite small fixed blade EDC knives. Next one, I have the LT Wright Daily Carry EDC. Yeah, Daily Carry. And I can't recall the steel on this. Shame on me. But I actually originally picked this up for my daughter. There was a drop on DLT. I wanted to pick up more than one, but I feel like that was being excessive. She's only 7 years old, so it's not like I don't take her on many opportunities, and I haven't fully spent the time to make sure she knows how to use the knife correctly. I have, just not enough for me to want to let her carry this on her own, right? But I am building up her collection, so this is one I got for her. And I really like it. The only thing that kind of threw me off is the way the handles are added on. Usually I'm used to knives that kind of have a, for instance, kind of bit of a refined molding or shaping, refined shaping of the handle. And I felt like this was just cut off and then slapped on. So not a critique in any way, just something I was surprised by. So, but I really like the colors on it. Everything else is really refined. It's got a nice texturing and grip to it. It's just a nice round handle basically in your hand. I have not had a chance to really use this, so I can't speak to the functions of it. But I do know when this dropped on DLT, these sold out pretty much instantly. So LT Wright Daily Carry. Don't remember the steel, but all right. Last up, I have a Carruthers Performance Knives EDC. And this is using their Delta 3V for the steel. And Delta 3V is just, it's kind of a unique 3V. I don't know enough about it, so I don't want to speak incorrectly of it, but I do know that it's somewhat unique to Corroder's performance knives. And I believe this is a collaboration of Corroder's performance knives and Lorian. Um, that's as much as I remember about that. So apologies if I'm not giving you more information, but I got this in a double red, kind of like a burgundy maroon color, right? Probably like more of a maroon. Uh, micarta, very comfortable. If you know anything about CPK knives, they are highly sought after and they keep their value very well. They make no nonsense knives that cut very well and perform, and it's very strong. Their DV, their 3V DV, their 3V is it's well known for how well they do the heat treating, and it's just a very great knife. I got this towards the end of this year, and I was very surprised because when they do drops, they do they sell primarily through blade forums. So every other Friday, I don't know when the next one is, but if you go um, check out blade forums, you can find out they usually drop at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or equivalent to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is they're all on the East Coast, and so they drop it, and it's usually batches of anywhere roughly around 20 knives. They also do pre-orders. They had a pre-order out for this. I'm not sure if it's still live, but probably not. And yeah, this was about 315 after shipping, and I did upgrade for the micarta handles for the color specifically. I think it was like $20 more, but the standard paid another $20 less. So I really like this. As soon as I got it, and it does come with a Kydex sheath and a multi clip. So I really like that because I do like to wear my small EDC fixed blades inside the waistband, and this does this job fairly well. I typically use a discrete carry concepts knife clip. Sorry, discrete concepts carry. I get those mixed up sometimes, but this works very well. So if I was to give it up to the best small EDC fixed blade, I'm going to give it up to the Corroders. Mostly because I've wanted one for so long. It's very comfortable in hand. It's got more. Really, I would be battling between these two only because I've used them both. This feels more minimalistic, but this feels a lot more comfortable. Like if you're using long-term use with this, I think this one will take the cake. So yeah, in my opinion, the EDC Corroders Performance Knives wins the best small fixed EDC of 2024. Yeah, it's a mouthful. All right, we're closing on three more categories. This being one of them. So this category is going to be the the hottest maker for 2024. And in my opinion, the two that I've been following and watching as their knives come in and they go out, how scarce it is to get their knives, is Les George and Oz Machine Company. So if you're familiar, if you're not familiar, Oz Machine Company they sell direct, right, from their website, and they'll do lotteries and or well, it's either or usually. I'll do a lottery or do a first come first serve. They're both very difficult to get, right? Because lottery is by chance, and you're probably every time you enter, you're probably going up against thousands of entries. And I don't want to say it's because everyone may necessarily want the knife, but it has a very good resale value. For the most part, it sells more, probably 20% more than what you pay for. For instance, this knife was slightly over $1,000, And I've seen on the aftermarket people listed up anywhere between $1,300 and $1,500. So even if you don't want the knife, you win in their lottery, you can just resell it, right? I am not advocating for that because I am very much involved with the community. I have a joy for the knife itself. Like when I got this, I'm not planning to resell it to make money. I plan on putting this to use. I'm very happy to have this part of the collection. Um, but yeah, those are the two ways to get their knives. Um, but this is the Rosie XL. And the number on this, let's see, serial number 0441. Uh, I don't know how I got this knife. I got this on a first comes first serve, and typically these sell out instantly, and they do. I don't. They've never really lasted more than 1 or 2 minutes. Um, so I did end up grabbing one by luck. And the trick here is get shop pay because all your information is loaded. And I got this on my phone, so went through, clicked on it, added to cart, used shop pay to check out, and it was really quick. And I think that's how I got this. I don't know anything negative to say about this knife. I really like this knife. But again, this category is not judging about knife versus knife. It's more the maker. Okay. So, but yeah, everything's great about this. It's got great action. It's a little shake shut for now, but yeah, I've had this not for very long, but it's basically the larger scale version to the Rosie, the normal size. It is a big knife. So if you like big knives, if you like big knives and you have a high budget, this would be it. Highly sought after. Oz Machine Co's knives just sell out, fly off the shelves. So if you can get one, even and if you don't like it, you pretty much can be guaranteed to resell it for at least what you paid for it. The next one is Les George. The very first Les George I got was probably a couple years ago, um, and his production, I feel like they come out in small batches, right? They're not regular production. They don't just keep pumping them out. But every time Les George drops a knife, mostly I see it from DLT or another retailer, online retailer. It sells out instantly. And the newest model it came out with is the Myrna, which I don't have here. This is the VECP, and he also came out with the Talos, or reintroduced the Talos. With but the VECP is my favorite model from him. This one is the bunt lock version. He also has a frame lock version, and it's a great knife. It's a no nonsense, great materials, titanium knife. It's using man cut steel on one of the newer versions of his knives. This is fully reversible, so you can swap the pocket clip. I kind of wish it wasn't, just so that way it have a cleaner look, right? But small things, not a deal breaker in any way. And so really, Les George, his knives sell out just as quickly as Oz, but you're more likely to get a Les George than an Oz. Right? And I think that's based on the different strategies. Do you make your knives limited so that they continue to build the demand? I think both of these have part of that as their strategy. So, and so for me, the best knife, the most sought after knife maker in 2024 between either the Oz Machine Co. or the Les George, it's gonna go towards Oz Machine Co. Yeah, these guys, and then I know it's kind of a toss up. Right, these are Les George's names behind it. Oz Machine Company is a group of people. I think it's a family. I could be wrong, family and friends, but so this is very difficult to get, and when you do, it's a great knife. It's really well done. However, it is basically double the price of this one. So this is about 450 or I would say 425 to 450. This is more than double that. So it's not a fair comparison to so to speak. But just the fact that these two are two of the knives I've noticed that sell out instantly. One is very hard to get, and while this one has a wider access, it does still sell out very quickly. And this holds its value pretty well too. I've seen this mostly sell for at least what you pay for, maybe 10% higher. So yeah. Okay. Second to the last category is a toss up between the best high end folder, titanium folder of 2024. Best high end titanium folder of 2024. We have the Prince Customs Pro TN. We've got the SPK Lamia and Oz Machine Company Rosie Roosevelt, or AKA Rosie. The Protean. Prince Tin Wong is the knife maker, and I really like it. It's got that smaller EDC feel to it. Of all the three, I would say the Lamia is the largest one, but the price point for this is $725. This was one of the first, I think, 5 to 6 batches he released. Not entirely sure, but serial number on this one is 42. Has a special meaning because I got this when I was 42 years old. Um, I've been carrying this quite a bit and used it. Everything about it's on point. Only thing, it's hard to thumb roll it out. Not hard, right? But it's has it's. I tend to always flick this out. So I feel like if you make a knife that you can flick out, you also want the rolling of it to be fairly easy and smooth. It's not hard by any means, but I just gravitate towards flicking this out more. Maybe I have too many Spydercos, that's why. It's got a great tension on the pocket clip. Feels the ergonomics are great. No hot spots. This might poke a bit, but no pressure. Yeah, it cuts well. It's got a hologram to it. He's got some different variations out. He's starting to build up his following, in my opinion. Um, he sells direct too, so you would just go to his website and you get these. Just follow him, subscribe to his newsletter, and he'll announce his drops ahead of time. And they're not hard to get. Like, he does sell them out because he makes small batches every time he drops it, but they're fairly they're not that difficult to get. I also use ShopPay to get this one. So, all right, next we have the Lamia from SPK. This is using their Nature Grip milling. Really cool. I really like the Lamia. It's very comfortable in hand. It's got a very it's not a full flat grind, but it's a very high flat grind. It does have a switch right here. Very, very fun to spider flick. Now this one actually is a little bit more, even though the thumb hole or oval is slightly chamfered, because of the strength of the detent, it takes a little bit more to open with your thumb. And so sometimes if you're doing it too often, you're just running your thumb into this area, so it kind of starts to put a little pressure on your thumb. This is another great middle finger flicking knife. I really like this. I have a plain Jane version of this as well. All right, last up, Oz Rosie. These are one of the most sought after knives in the market all year. Every time they drop, they sell out. It's either first come, first serve, or they do a lottery system. However, this one was a little unique. So, what day did I get this notification? December 12th. December 12th, I got a email from Oz saying that they're doing a special drop. So they had three knives, and the only way to gain access to their website was to enter a password. So they password protected it, And the only way to get that password is to confirm the name of the steel they first used on their first 7 knives. And you can find it on Instagram. So I went in, I scrolled through, I don't know how long I scrolled for, but I did find it. And I thought by then, because I had gotten emails, I don't know, 15 minutes, I figured it'd be gone by then. But I got into the website and I saw this one, a bronze version of the Rosie, and then it had an XL with angled milling on it. I have been a sucker for green finishes recently, and this has a green with the bronze tint to it. And yeah, I ended up getting it. So this is my second Rosie in the collection. I really hope I don't continue to accumulate these because these are expensive. So best high-end folder for 2024 for me. I know it's a tough one, but I'm actually gonna go with the SPK Lamia. And the reason I say that because it's got more cutting edge than both of these knives. Right? So I do like larger knives. So yes, part of this is all of this is all subjective. This is all my opinion, really. It's easier to get because when he does drops, they're larger batches. So you're more likely to pick one up as long as you're at the drop on time. Um, does a great job on the milling. This is very unique. Action's amazing. I mean, the steel's LMAX, so it's not anything fancy, but it's fine. Right? I think it's a great steel. I had this on some Shirographs and no complaints about the steel whatsoever. Let's see. I feel like it's just how being able to accessibility is better. I think even though he doesn't do that many drops throughout the year, I think I've only seen maybe of these, 3 or 4. So they're not that often. Whereas the Oz, they do drop once a week, once every 2 weeks. But these are much more difficult to get. And the Protean also maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks he'll do a drop. But yeah, something about this. I think the ergonomics, being able to get 4-finger grip into it without having a choil, so to speak, I do enjoy. The protein's a little bit smaller, so yes, you can get 4 fingers without this area. Um, the Rosie, and definitely this is not a knock on either two for me selecting this, but I don't know. I really like the Lamia. It's you know this is just my opinion, but I would say in 2024 the best high end folder goes to SPK Lamia. All right, closing in on the last category, the best inlay of 2024, the best unique inlay of 2024. This is the Chris Reeve Knives Sebenza 31. This is an annual that is exclusive to GP Knives. I don't know how long that exclusive is going to last for, but for the last 2 years, the annual has been released through GP Knives. And this is using a purple heart inlay. So it's got like a purplish tint to it. Obviously, depending on the lighting, you'll see more of that purple. And yeah, I really wish I had gotten the Damascus version. I tried, but they were using a bacon pattern Damascus, Galactic Bacon, I think that's what it was called. I wasn't able to get that. It sold out really quickly, but I was able to secure one of these during the drop. And fitting, I started with the Spyderco at the beginning of this video, and I end with Chris Reeve. Chris Reeve knives hold a special place in my collection. I've quite a few, to say the least. And I really like it. It's very simplistic, elegant. They hold their value well. They're easy to maintain. They've got an amazing spa service, warranty service. So anytime you need, majority of the models, I believe I read somewhere with the inlays, it's more difficult to get it restored, only because if you end up scratching or damaging the inlay, they may not have that available to replace. But let's say, for instance, you had the micarta version or just the plain Jane. You get it all scratched up, you send it back to them, they'll reblast it, they'll resharpen for you, they'll tune it. So they offer a great warranty service. So for me, Chris Reeve has always been a company that provides the type of value to a consumer that you will come to expect from an American company. And I think there's a lot of companies, at least US companies is what I can speak to, that are trying to follow suit. They have great, warranties and stuff like that. But Chris Reeve definitely stands out from the pack, and they've been leading this charge for many years, providing that service. And yeah, just they're great cutters. It's a great EDC knife. They got the large or the small version. But I really like the inlay they've done on this. Last year they had this Sapel wood. I got that one too. But for 2024, the most unique inlay goes to the Chris Reeve Sabenza 31 Annual from GP Knives. All right, we've come to the end. Really appreciate you watching the video, spending your time checking out what I thought was some of the best of 2024. 2025 is right around the corner. A lot more knives to be had in the coming year. I mean, yeah, I continue to really enjoy this hobby, all the different knife makers, all the innovation that's out there, and glad I'm able to share it with my viewers, subscribers, with the community, ultimately. So, thank you all again. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Happy New Year when 2025 hits. Stay frosty.